are here for another exciting lesson. And the topic for our lesson today is chords on the keyboard. What did I say? Chords on the keyboard. Chords on this young man. So, first, we learn the definition of chord. We did that last time, so we'll recap for this time. Then we go into types of chord, explain it, then show you how to play on the keyboard. Is that right? Okay, first, what is chord? Okay, the chord is a combination of two or more notes played together. What is a chord? The chord is a combination of two or more notes played together. Okay, so we're done with the definition of chord. Now we enter types of chord. Types of chord. There are three types of chord. One is a primary chord, the second, secondary chord, and the third, tertiary chord. What did I say? Primary chord, secondary chord, and tertiary chord. Well, in this lesson, I'll explain only two. Don't ask me why. Okay, so I'll explain the primary chord and secondary chord. Okay, so now primary chord. Primary chord contains three basic notes. Three basic notes. That's why we call them primary chord. The first one is our major chord. The first is what? The major chord. So now our major chord contains our root note. It contains a major third, and it contains a perfect fifth. I repeat, it contains a root note, it contains major third, and it has what? Our perfect fifth. Now move on to the second, which is our minor chord. The minor chord contains the root note, it contains a minor third, and the perfect fifth. I repeat, has the root note, it has a minor third, and a perfect fifth. That is for our primary chord. Then for our secondary chord, we have two. We have the diminished chord and we have augmented chord. I repeat, for secondary chord, we have diminished chord and we have our augmented chord. Now, in our diminished chord, we have the root, we have a minor third, and we have our diminished fifth. I repeat, you have the root, you have a minor third, and we have the diminished fifth. Okay, now we move on to augmented chord. The augmented chord has the root, it has the major third, and it has an augmented fifth. I repeat, has the root, it has the major third, and it has an augmented fifth. So recap. Define the chord. Now types of chord, and we said we have four types of chord. We have three types of chord, beg your pardon. We have the primary chord, we have the secondary chord, and we have the tertiary chord. For our primary chord, we have two, which is the major chord and the minor chord. For our secondary chord, we have the diminished chord and the augmented chord. That's why I say I will stop. Okay, now we go to our practical base on the keyboard so you see how to play them. First, you locate your root. For this lesson, we'll deal with our, let's choose a key, let's choose a key, let's choose a key, let's choose a key. Okay, let's use the key of G. So the key of G. Now the G, how to locate your G? The G is the white note. The G is the white note after your F. Now this is how to identify your G. Now locate your three black notes. Get that first step? Locate your three black notes. After that, you locate the first white note before your three blacks. So your three blacks, white notes, three blacks, white notes, three blacks, white notes. Okay, so like we know that this white note before three blacks is the F. So that's your F. The white note before your three blacks, that's your F. Then after your F is the G. So after F is G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's your G. You get it? So that's how to get your G. After F, your G. Okay, so now we've gotten our roots. That's very important. So if you choose any other key, maybe F, D, E, A, G flat, whichever key, just choose a key as your root. So now in this lesson, choose our G. Are we good? Okay, so now let's start with our primary chord. That's the major chord. So primary chord, we get our roots. That's our G. Count 2, 3. That's our major third. That is B. Then we count 3, 4, 5. That is our D. So our major chord, our G major chord, has the G as the root note. It has B as the major third and has D as the perfect fifth. Now remember, our chord is a combination of two or more notes played together. So we now play them together. Ooh, that sounds so lovely. So that's our major chord. That's our G major chord. So the fingering for that is 1, 2, and 4 for right hand, left hand. 1, 3, 5. The same notes G, B, D. So we play them together. That's your major chord. Now the second one in our primary chord is the minor chord. So we have our roots G. We have our flat third, which is B flat. Sounds sad. And we have our perfect fifth, which is D. So that's it. So lovely. So G, B flat, D. So that's your G minor chord. Now we move on to secondary chord. We talked about our diminished chord and augmented chord. So we'll go for diminished first. Roots, our G is the root. Minor third, B flat. Diminished fifth, D flat. Oh, it sounds so sad. So that's our diminished, G diminished chord. Okay, so that's our diminished chord. You get it? Okay, now we move on to augmented. We said our roots, G, very important. Our major third, B. Our augmented fifth, D sharp. Woo! So that's our secondary chord, mostly used in jazz. Oh. So we're done with the four chords: primary chord, major chord, minor chord, secondary chord, diminished chord, augmented chord. That's all. So I hope you learned and I hope you enjoy yourself. Happy learning and keep being active. Goodbye.